will be broken in two. Just like you can cheat on me, I can cheat on you. There's no rules to the game of love that can't be played by two.
So I've read a lot about your music origins. I know you're from Serbia, and then you grew up listening to your dad's blues collection and jamming with him. And now, what I'd like to ask you about, I understand you just collaborated with your dad on an album, right?
That's right. So it's something that I've been trying to do for the past 10 years, but he never wanted to do anything, in that direction. So he finally gave in and got in the studio. He really played music just for a hobby. I really love his sound and his voice and his guitar playing. I thought there is more to that. At least the versions that we used to play at home of these old blues songs and standards, some were fresh in my mind. And when I compare them to what I hear on the road and on the festivals, I'm still thinking those were the cool versions we used to do back home. So basically, I wanted to go back and do a different record. So a lot of my fans are not expecting that full of standards and cover songs. So not a single song written by myself this time, which is very unusual. I would want them to hear me, how I sound playing some songs they actually heard or almost heard, because I'm more of a B-side person. So when I pick songs I'm going to do, they're usually not really very known songs, but at least they're kind of a hidden jewel. At the same time, this is just introduction to what I'm working on right now, which is my release. Going to be something huge, very big in size, and a lot of songs. And I can't tell anything more, but it's going to feature different styles, and it's going to really feature me from all different sides and of music and guitar playing. It's a tribute, to all the fathers who inspired young guitar players to start playing.
What a fabulous project! Your father must be so proud of you.
I think he's still in shock because I booked him a ticket and I booked him a studio with his favorite rhythm section, and I really got him. He didn't want to do it, and finally I said, you don't have to do it for me, just do it for your grandchildren.
Oh, there you go. Now, what about your kids? Are they showing any sort of inclination towards music?
Yeah, they do. Very little. They have these two little cute guitars that I got from Fender for them, but they are really. My son is so much into sports. He's very musical, but he loves sport. You see, my son is the only soccer fan in the family. We never watched soccer before he came, around. So now he's watched soccer, and I'm not into pushing kids because myself, I was never pushed into music, and I don't think that's the right thing to do. So I am going to be the last one to push him to practice. So I'm just having a stage built in here. It's already built in our living room. We got all kinds of instruments, so they grow up. They're growing up around the instruments and guitars and stuff, but they are, however, not pushed to practice.
That's great. So if they gravitate, it's up to them. You're not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
Great. I was looking at your schedule for the last couple of years, and I mean, you're on the road constantly.
It does look like that sometimes when you look at the schedule, but we have a lot of time off as well. You see, I can allow myself to have a whole December off and January with a very few shows. I play 130 shows, 140 a year, and that's the maximum shows I do. Although that's very little. I mean, that's little for a regular blues band, I would think. I definitely need my family time at home. I need my everyday life to get inspired for songs, to just be a regular person, to be a mom, be a wife, and make a meal and go to the grocery store. I just need that switch. So, yeah, it does look a lot, but we are doing a lot of weekends so that I'm during the week at home. So Thursday to Monday or Thursday to Monday or Friday to Monday, and then I'm back home doing my regular stuff.
You must have a lot of energy.
I guess I do. I mean, I love it. This is really my passion, what I do. This is like when you have a family and a lot of things going on at home, obviously, the time for myself, that's what I find on stage. This is my relaxation time. This is just me and my instrument, and this is when I'm doing stuff for myself. Some other women maybe go do yoga or do stuff, to get relaxed. I take my guitar and stand in front of the audience, and this is my moment, you see. That's why I get lost in it, and everybody asks, like, where are you when you close your eyes, and you're like, it's almost you're a lift off the stage. That's exactly where I am, It's like I don't really see the audience sometimes. I'm never nervous. I'm actually really enjoying the moment.
Did I understand that there's finally a signature Ana Popovic guitar coming out?
No, well, in a way, I've been playing Fender so long, and they've been so supportive. And I can order whatever I want off of their website, which is very kind. However, I'm not really a collector, so I have my own 64 Strat. They don't give out those, as you know. Hamilton Guitar made me a guitar that is exactly the same as they made for Stevie Ray Vaughan, with his signature, and they use the same logo for my signature, which is a wonderful thing, because you see, I'm not a collector. I don't need a whole lot of guitars, but I do want a few of the special ones. So Hamilton is incredible, because they didn't make a guitar for anyone, basically since Stevie died, and Stevie had their guitar in his collection.
That's amazing. But what an honor, though, to be the first one since Stevie Ray Vaughan. That's
absolutely,
amazing.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, to me, that, I don't know, when there's a signature guitar, that means you've officially reached the status of legend. That's what I see when I see a signature guitar. So congratulations. That's great.
Oh, thank you.
So I wanted to ask you, you grew up listening to Buddy Guy, and now you tour with him, and you play with him. What's that like?
That is incredible. I think Buddy is the only person I ever asked for autographs, because I never like to bother people after concerts. Buddy was the only person, and I was 13 at that time when I saw him in Belgrade, and he did similar show. He would come in the audience, give people guitar to play, and I thought it was just incredible. In the middle of Belgrade, he would just step on the stage and come like a blues god to all of us Eastern Europeans sitting there. He would even give out his guitar. So I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So I met him afterwards, and really briefly, that was it, and got my signature. But years later, I recorded one of his songs, and actually heard that he heard it that same year. He told me, I've heard your song and the version of my song, so he loved it. And much later, we get to play together. It is incredible. And now we're on the same agency. So we did a Hendrix tour together, which was great.
I saw that, yeah.
Guitar players and a few, and a lot of shows with just the two of us.
Amazing. I wanted to ask you about the Hendrix tour, too. Now, you were, of course, the only woman, as a guitar player. And what was that experience like?
It was incredible, and of course it happens to me often that I'm the only one on the bill, but however here it was years and years that they went on without actually contacting a female guitar player, so it was more like they were really set onto just a very professional male performance, so I kind of tried to get on it for a few years, and it finally happened. That was really my dream come true, because I see myself not only as a blues artist, but really as a guitar player, kind of a guitar player's audience,
Yes, sure.
So because I grew up on all kinds of different styles, and I studied jazz, and I love fusion, I like jazzy stuff, I like blues, rock, whatever. So actually I guess somewhere too jazzy and too rocky for blues people, and the other way around, too bluesy for jazz people. So, really what my audience is a guitar player's audience. And that was the first tour for me that really was all about that. All about guitar, no really musical styles, because we had audience of Zakk Wylde sitting next to the audience of Buddy Guy, and Eric Johnson, and the fusion people, jazz people, blues people, rock. You had a huge spectrum of audiences next to each other, enjoying equally the shows. Which is another thing that only Jimmy possesses and nobody else of all the guitar players, which is really a true gift to unite all these different guitar players and their audiences and they all equally being influenced by Jimmy. You know, you can't find any other guitar player who can actually do that.
I just wonder why there aren't more women like you in music. And I think it's changing, but, you know, do you have any insights around that?
No, I think it's definitely changing, and that is great. I would just think that it was really reserved for male, a kind of a male profession. It was until Bonnie basically, made success with her slide playing. But it was a male-dominated world where, not many women were welcome, I would think, at that time. And it takes a lot of, being self-assured, a lot of guts, I guess, to come out and form your own band. Even at the time when I started, now it's more easy. Now it's actually they're kind of going for it. If they see a female player in the band, let's make it her band. It's kind of a selling point nowadays. And if I was starting up now, as a kid, I don't think I would be a guitar player. I would probably choose another instrument. There's so many cool instruments that are not played by women, and I think that would be a good thing to do, just be different.
So I did want to ask you about, now, how old are your kids now?
They're 2 and 6.
Oh, they're still really young. Wow.
Yeah.
And now when you were, say when your son was young, did you take him on the road with you?
Oh, yeah, they both started when they were, my son was 5 weeks old, and my daughter wasn't even 4 weeks old when I played my first show.
Wow.
It was in her it was in her 3rd week, and we flew across the ocean and moved to Memphis. At that time, we started the tour with 2 kids that lasted, I think, 4 weeks. So that was a tour with a baby, and it was, it was something else for sure. But I did tour with both of them, so they're rock and roll babies. They were very easy, actually.
Really? Okay. That was going to be my question.
Yeah.
Like, crying baby and, on the plane and what, and I mean, are you?
No. They did cry very little though. And that's good. They were not a crying babies, both of them. And then my daughter was even more easy, the second one. And they were just happy travelers. They would just go. My son would run around on the blues festivals, and my husband would run after him, or some blues promoters would run after him. And then my daughter was in the backstage. So it was concert, breastfeeding, back on stage. I did it all, and I think that's the way to go if you're a mother with a career. I think you should be happy with what you do, and if you're happy, I guess the baby's going to be happy too. And you need to have, obviously, a very strong support from your husband or a partner.
Sure.
Without that, that's impossible. Absolutely. I think a woman has to be very wise when she chooses a career, but even more wise when she chooses a partner.
Oh, for sure.
Because without that, you can forget about anything else in nowadays world, how it is.
So did you have family members on the road with you as well? Like your mother, your father?
Oh, yeah, they all switched, and they were all very happy. They get a chance to be with grandchildren, and so they couldn't wait. So we would just bring in one grandma, the other grandma, my husband. Yeah, we all did that, and they were happy. They would get to see America and spend time with the grandma. And now, of course, it's different because my son's in school, so that's where we now actually slow down the shows, and we're doing weekends.
I think it's so exciting that the world is, the musical world is changing, and that there's more room for women like you.
Absolutely. No, I think we covered everything, and there were interesting questions. Thank you.